This isn't a clickbait apology. There's no jokes. I just want to tell you what's been going on because I haven't been okay and I really messed up. Before I apologize, I want to start from the beginning. 2020, obviously the year when COVID hit, but I'm not trying to be corny and say that I didn't get a prom or I didn't get a graduation because I wasn't doing well in school and I didn't really care about any of that. I was going to fail if it wasn't for COVID giving me a pass. Before COVID hit, I spent every day at school lunch with my best friends at the time, Katie, Jahi, Dylan, and Paulina. Paulina was my best friend from 8th grade. When I moved to the city, her, Courtney, and Chloe were the only people who showed me kindness after coming from a really bad neighborhood. Plus, I was going through my emo phase, which wasn't pretty. After spending the last few months inside, I enjoyed it a little bit more than I should have. But then I got some really devastating news. Paulina got admitted into a psychiatric hospital. They injected her with sedatives that created a blood clot and killed her instantly. She passed away April 25th, 2020. We couldn't have a funeral or a memorial because of COVID, so I spent the next few months trying really hard to stay afloat. But I dreamt of her every day, and I still do. Flash forward June 2020. I finally got the chance to reunite with Dylan. He was in a band now, and this is where I met Amos, the bassist, Ben, the lead vocals, and Kevin, which is one of their friends. We've grown really close over the next few months. I don't think we went a day without seeing each other. We all had no money, no jobs, just bumming around in Ben's basement. And at this time I was really growing on social media, and it was genuinely a rush. Very soon, 1 billion people saw my face or knew my name. Later that October, I registered for college. It was all online, so I just decided to go to the mall every day. This is where things get really gross. You're gonna view me in a different light, and I'm okay with that. I was walking around the mall, which seemed like the busiest day of the fucking year, and suddenly my stomach churned. I had to shit so fucking bad. All the bathrooms were full, so I went to the JCPenney's employees' bathroom. I sat there for 2 hours with blood pouring out of my ass. I texted my brothers to come pick me up, and then I passed out. The mall closed and I was still in there. They picked me up and drove me home. I spent the next few months in agony, shame, and embarrassment. I could not stop using the fucking bathroom. It took a really long time to see a gastroenterologist, which is a butt doctor, because of health insurance. Eventually my mom took me. I cried the entire car ride. Not only was I in so much pain, but the anxiety made it so much worse. My mom never looked so heartbroken. We go to the doctor and I have my colonoscopy and endoscopy. And wouldn't you know it, they found a tumor. It wasn't cancerous or anything, but it grew to the size of a golf ball. It was up my fucking ass, and I thought that was the end of it. Still, I spent the next few months in agony, seeing so many doctors, but in particular one really shitty doctor. This is the part of the story I'm not comfortable sharing. He was a really bad doctor, and we will just leave it at that. Eventually, because of that doctor, I gave up. I stopped leaving my house. I was anxious because of how he acted and ashamed of my body and health, also known as agoraphobia. It took me a really long time with the enforcement of my mom to see one last doctor. When I saw her, March of 2021, she assured me she wouldn't give up on me. It took us until April of 2022 to figure out that I had Crohn's disease and celiac disease, which basically means that my intestines are all fucked up, but I still wouldn't leave my house even with that answer. I spent the next year creating content, still rapidly growing, not telling the world of what I went through or what I'm going through. Social media was my safe space. I made people laugh and that gave me joy. I hope I still make people laugh, but probably not this video. 2023, I'm still not leaving my house. I haven't seen Kevin or Amos in years, but they still texted me every day. Eventually, on my birthday, Kevin surprised me. I was so fucking nervous. I haven't seen him in 3 years, and my anxiety would always spark up and make me think that I was about to shit my pants. That same day I got a phone call. This is where it gets interesting. It was from MrBeast. He wanted to fly me out to be in one of his YouTube videos, and so desperately wanting to face my fears and bite the bullet, I accepted. Regardless of my fear, I hopped on the plane, with the exception that he would fly my brother, Nidium, with me. I panicked the entire way. My body did not leave fight or flight mode, even though I tried really hard to act up for cameras and pictures and everything. I still pushed through. Towards day 4 of my stay there, I fell into deep derealization. I took on a challenge that I could not handle. Luckily, at the same time, they said the shoot would be rescheduled in 2 weeks due to some technical errors, so I went home. I didn't go back after 2 weeks. Ironically, the girl that took my spot won the video, so everything works out for a reason. This is like still hard to talk about. I'm trying really hard to pretend it's not. I spent the next year waking up at 2 p.m. and going to bed at 8 p.m. I was taking 500 milligrams of melatonin every night. I was miserable. Every moment I was awake, I was having a panic attack. And I was still agoraphobic, regardless of me thinking that trip would just magically fix things. I couldn't make eye contact with my family anymore. I didn't want them to know that even though my physical health issues were in control, that my mental health issues weren't. I spent every day playing Roblox with my friend Bree, so at least I was having some social interaction. October 2024. I couldn't fall asleep. I took almost a full bottle of melatonin and still couldn't fucking sleep. I started panicking horrifically. The thought of my family going to bed before me sent me in spirals. What if someone breaks in? What if I get raped? What if my tumor comes back and kills me in an instant? Every hypothetical scenario ran through my head, even though I knew they weren't likely. The fact that they were still possible killed me. I went upstairs to my mom and brother. I looked them in the eye. I haven't showered in months at this point, and I haven't eaten in a week. My hair was in knots and my face was beet red. If someone doesn't take me to the hospital, I'm gonna have to kill myself in the morning. They were confused and scared, but they weren't oblivious. They knew something was wrong for a while, but they thought I just spent so much time in the basement looking at a screen that I was just bored and sad. But it was so much worse than that. My brother took me to the ER, even though I had PTSD from doctors and hospitals and shit. I told them I'm in pain, and I'm scared of being admitted, and I'm scared of being at home. They admitted me in the next hour and tested me for COVID. I was positive somehow. They stripped me naked to check if I was hiding drugs or weapons on me, as they're supposed to do, but I was crying, sobbing everywhere. Because of COVID, they put me in my own room, gave me my own phone and my own TV. I spent every day watching Sinjin drowning on YouTube. I also managed to jailbreak the TV so that I can access email and Instagram so that everyone thought I was okay. Pretty soon they gave me Klonopin. It made my head pound so fucking bad. I went to bed again, sobbing. A couple of days later, they gave me Xanax and diagnosed me with POCD. That helped. I was released from the mental hospital and paired with a psychiatrist, an actual good one. She tested me for which medication I react well with and which I don't, which if you are going through something similar, I highly recommend you get that test done too. It will save you from a lot of the struggles I went through with medication. Soon after, I was put on Latuda, sertraline, Xanax, and beta blockers. I spent the next few days trying to adjust to home, still playing Roblox, but I didn't want to talk to anybody. But over time, the medication started working. I felt more peace in my mind. Again, I'm not going to act like this is the first medication we tried. I'm just going to save you from the boringness of all of the medications I've tried. I began exposure therapy. I'm gonna save you from the boringness of walking up and down my street for the next month. It took a lot. A lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of medication. Still, till this day. Eventually, 2025, I set goals. I didn't set any goals that I think would be unachievable. I just set goals like, have a happy Christmas, celebrate your birthday, shit like that. It took a while. I'm talking 5 years, but eventually I confided in Kevin and Amos. They started to feel like a safe space away from home. I started going out, first just to Kevin's house, and he understood that I needed that practice, so I went there almost every day. But then I started going to bars and parties, reminding myself that I can leave whenever I want and I am not stuck here and I am not unsafe. And then to family dinners, pools, and even downtown Chicago. I felt okay. I didn't feel free, but I felt strong. I learned to accept that feeling instead of fighting it, living beside it. Things got easier when I did that, plus the support of my family and friends now. And now here I am, 6 years later, having a billion people see me online, but not one in person. And I know there's gonna be a lot of questions like, well, how did you film that? And to be fair, I wasn't completely afraid of sunshine. Again, I could go outside of my house and sit in my car in front of my porch, but drive-thrus and stores, I would send my brother out to film those and then edit it like I was there. So, again, this video isn't clickbait. Why am I sorry? I'm sorry I wasn't honest before. I get a lot of comments on my channels like, is this reposted content? Does she not care about us? Why does she disappear and then reappear? And I know, I'm inconsistent. But hey, now you know why. I spent 4 years fighting with my mind and body, and then the last 2 rediscovering what it meant to live again. I can safely say right now, I feel okay. I'm happy. I don't know if it'll last, and I'm really scared, but I know I'll probably have to live beside my mental health struggles for the rest of my life, and I learned that I'm okay, and I accept that. I'm not sorry for going through all of this, and I'm not sorry for taking time for my personal life. I am sorry for not telling you sooner. And unfortunately, despite having 4 million followers, I don't have a team, I don't have editors or creative writers. It is all just me. Everything you see is all my work. I might be and have been inconsistent and neglectful. And for that, I am sorry.